Retro Ghetto.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. So it's no secret that I love collecting for the Xbox 360, and whilst I'm not going for the full set, I am going for a comprehensive collection. I'm trying to get every single game in my collection that I think looks interesting, the games that I might want to play, and I envisage that this console is going to go up and up in terms of value over the next few years, so I'm trying to get some of those heavier hitters for my collection now. We've also recently seen a sharp increase in games such as Spec Ops: The Line and Batman Origins on the system, and who knows which game is going to be the next to shoot up in price. What I'm going to be doing today is showing you some of my recent additions, and most of them are very uncommon on the system, some of which I've never even heard of, but do look very interesting and games that I'm looking forward to playing. We're going to start with uncommon and we're going to work our way right up to rare. I've got some really nice additions to show you guys. As you can see on my right, some of which are going to be CEX lotteries. Some of these are found in various different stores and CEXs across the country, so it's a whole mixed bag here, and some of these have got quite the story as well. There's a bit of journey to get to where we are today, and hopefully I'll be able to add some of these to the collection. Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But we are going to kick it off with a find that I had in my local CEX a couple of weeks back now, and it sort of inspired this video. And as a general rule of thumb, if you're ever looking through your local CEX and you see a game that you've never seen before, it looks interesting and somewhat pricey for the system, definitely check it out, because the chances are it's going to be uncommon and worth picking up, and that was definitely the case with this game, and that is The Way of the Samurai 3. This 2008 acquired developed samurai RPG set in feudal Japan is a very in-depth game, full of character development, progression, and a very in-depth combat system. There's a huge 22 possible endings on this one, which just goes a little bit of the way to show you how in-depth of a game this one really is. And as you'll be seeing on screen now, a very visually stunning game, and if you're into sort of that whole feudal Japan era, if you're enjoying currently watching Shogun, I know I am, then this could definitely be one for you. And this is what really caught my eye. Look how beautiful that box art is. And as I say, this is a somewhat uncommon title. I went into CEX and I saw this, and it's currently going for £12, but there's just 4 copies in stock. If you go on eBay, you're looking at sort of £16 to £20, and it also comes with a nice bonus disc as well. I believe it's yeah, digital art book. A real thick manual, as you would expect with a game which, as I say, is so in-depth that, yeah, just a nice addition to any collection. I'm not going to lie, I've never even heard of this series. I think it started on the PlayStation 2 way back in 2002, and yeah, there's 4 games in the series. I think it finished in 2011. I don't think there will be another entry because the team behind them has disbanded, and this was actually ported to PC in 2016 as well, so there is an even more modern way to play this one. And like I say, if you're ever in your local CEX, you see a game you've never seen before, definitely look into it, because it might be worth picking it up. And yeah, with just 4 copies in stock, definitely uncommon, but the games are only getting rarer from here. Right, okay, next up, and with just 2 copies in stock, the first of our CEX lotteries. Now, as I say, very uncommon, so I'm really hoping this is in good enough condition to be added to my collection. We'll switch now to the secondary camera, and yeah, we'll pull this one open. Where are we? Oh, it's not one of them pull tabs, it's just an adhesive envelope. I'm going to have more to say about these envelopes. There's more to come. One of these games in particular has got quite the story. But anyway, we'll get to all that. So let's get rid of everything in here. It's heavy, so it feels like it should have a manual. Looks in decent condition. And that is Guilty Gear 2 Overture. This 2009 Xbox exclusive, developed by Arc System Works, is the 4th installment in the Guilty Gear franchise. But strangely, it isn't actually a one-on-one fighter. I thought all the Guilty Gear games were, but this one apparently is not. This is described as a mix between action and real-time strategy. It came out to average reviews. You're looking at sort of like 6s across the board from what I saw, but yeah, certainly an interesting game. I don't think there's too many games that have been made with this sort of mashup of different strategic and combat games, as you'll be seeing on screen now. But yeah, it does look to be in a nice condition, to be honest. So I think we're going for a winner here. Absolutely, look at that, nice clean manual. Again, another thick manual, full colour, a lost art these days, and yeah, this looks decent as well. So the first CEX lottery of the day has gone very well indeed. Now this game is actually £15 at CEX. It sells for about £20 on eBay, but as I say, there's just 2 copies in stock, so definitely an uncommon one, this one. whilst not a classic one-on-one fighter, as I've already said, I am going for the full fighter set for my Xbox 360 kiosk, and this strikes me as the sort of game that might be one of those that you could sort of stand up and play in that one-on-one fighter style. So yeah, really happy with that. And once again, as you would expect with this kind of game, beautiful artwork, and yeah, definitely looking forward to playing this one, because yeah, you just don't get many games like this at all. And that takes me to the next CEX lottery, but this one has got a bit more of a backstory. So I kind of stumbled across this game whilst I was looking and researching for this video, and I ordered it, and it turned up on a very wet, grey, miserable February day, which isn't uncommon here in the UK. And this takes me to my next little grievance against CEX. So they kind of send them in these just cardboard sleeves at the moment. There's no padding, there's no sort of like void fill, there's no bubble wrap or anything. And this came, it was wet, it was sort of like squashed on one side, and I didn't want to wait for this video because it was wet. I didn't want the sort of water to seep into the game and damage it. So I opened it up straight away off camera, and I mean, I guess I'm going to have to tell you what game it is, right? Probably makes sense at this point. It's Deadfall Adventures. This to me looks like a really interesting game, and probably of all the games here, the one that I want to play the most. I'd never heard of it before researching for this list. It's a 2013 first-person action-adventure game developed by Farm 51. It's quite an interesting backstory. It takes place before World War II. I think it's set in 1938, and you play as a treasure hunter fighting against Nazis and all kinds of supernatural enemies. I mean, what could you want, right? To me, it kind of looks like Uncharted meets Indiana Jones. It got generally less than favourable reviews. There's a lot of 3s and 4s out of 10s, but what I've learned over time is with this generation, there's a lot of reviews that came out quite negative, but when you look at them now, I find they've aged well, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're looking forward to finding out a little bit more about this one myself. Yeah, it just looks like a game that I would enjoy. But let me know in the comment section if you played this one. But as I say, it turned up, the cardboard was wet, whilst luckily I managed to get to it before there was any water damage. You can see that it arrived crushed. The box was damaged, the spine was all bent out of shape, and to make matters worse, whilst it was nice of them to put this in there, there was, as you can see, it's in the incorrect box as well, because it doesn't house 2 discs. There's no manual. So generally I wasn't too impressed, and I thought, whilst there's only a few copies in stock, I'll have to send this back and get another copy before it goes out of stock completely. And here's where this takes a bit of a strange turn, right? So this game, as I say, was £15, and there was just, at time of recording this, there's only 1 copy in stock. But once I had received this, there was the collector's edition in stock. So I thought, you know what? I'll order the collector's edition. And do you know what's sort of bizarre about this? And I can't understand for the life of me as to why. This is a £15 game. The collector's edition costs, any guesses? £15. I mean, I don't understand why. There's a copy of this game in here. So, yeah. I ordered the collector's edition. So it kind of worked out, because I don't think I would have delved into it had that not arrived in bad condition. So that will be getting returned. But let's open this up, shall we? Let's hope that at least one of these copies of Deadfall that I've ordered has worked out. They've taped over the pull tab. So we're just going to brute strength it. Right, okay, let's have a look. It's not the biggest of collector's editions, which is good because I'm fast running out of room in my growing Xbox 360 area. So let's see what we've got. Okay. Is there a decent copy of this game out there anywhere? This is not in the best condition. Maybe it deserves to be £15, I don't know. Look at the bottom, it's all tatty, it's all kind of like bent up, right? It's not in nice condition at all. I guess it all kind of comes down to what condition the actual game's in, because as I say, this is the same price as the game, so it's one of them where you can't really moan too much. It's an interesting box, it pushes downward. And it is just the outer sleeve really that's not in the best of shape. And the spine doesn't look too bad, so I could theoretically display it, at least until I got a better condition one down the line. Okay, so right, so whoever owns this and enjoys a cigarette, I think. Okay, so let's see first of all what we've got then. It doesn't really come in much. I don't know why it's a collector's edition. I suppose you get a making of DVD. Although that might be what fell out of the other one. I told you there was a story with this, right? The plot thickens with Deadfall Adventures. Right, so we've got a making of DVD. We've got an art book, which is more like an instruction manual. And then the game itself, which thankfully isn't crushed. So this one actually looks in nice condition, and this was the main point of me reordering it, right? Let's hope there's a manual. Yes, okay, so I'm going to chalk that as a win, right? Because, as I say, this is the same price as the game, and this was ultimately what I wanted, a decent condition. So we'll take that, we'll chalk it off as a win, but yeah, a strange one, right? Let me know in the comments if you've ever sort of found a collector's edition that's the same price as the standard game, because I don't know if it's a mistake on CEX's part, but I'm happy to benefit from it. Okay, and we are now into the realm of very uncommon games. So again, there seems to be a bit of a backstory with another CEX order. So this was a game that I found on the CEX app, one of very few, which only had one in stock. And that was kind of my motive going into this video. I was thinking, right, I want to get as many games from CEX that basically have very limited stock levels. So this had one in stock. And when I ordered it, I did think, you're kind of running the gauntlet when there's only one in stock, because it could well be that it's a reprinted one, or for whatever reason it doesn't get posted out. So I was kind of cautious going into it. Now, the inevitable happened. I ordered this on the same day as I think the Guilty Gear game. And Guilty Gear got sent out, and I knew that what was going to happen now. CX did what they did. They held on to my money for a few days. They generated interest on my money. And then I inevitably got that email saying that it had been cancelled. And then it came back like a day or so later saying one in stock. Now, at this point, the sensible thing to do would be to assume that that was that same game I'd ordered, because that's what they do, right? Gone back into stock on the system. And it would be stupid of me to order it. Well, call me stupid, because I thought, you know what? I never checked what store it was. And I've got the voucher, they've refunded it me, I can't really lose. They'll send it me back in a few days once they've made some more money on my money. It annoys me that they hold your money for like 5 days or whatever it is. Anyway, that's a different story. So, yeah, it happened. A couple of days went by, I was waiting for that inevitable email, and they said it was dispatched. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened the first time, whether or not one did then randomly get put into the system, but then why would it not show us 2 in the system? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to take it. Hopefully, this is a win, because as I say, this is an uncommon game. This was the only one in stock. This is available on other systems, but it's seemingly quite uncommon on all systems, right? So, yeah, let's get into this one, shall we? And once again, we'll switch to this camera here. We'll pull her open. That's a strange choice of words. Anyway, that game is... That looks decent. Williams Pinball Classics. So this is a Far Sight developed game. It probably would be a very different pinball game if it was Far Right developed. Moving on. This is a Far Sight developed 2011 release featuring many of Williams Electronics' classic pinball machines. All the machines on this game are available at the start, but you only have a certain amount of credits to sort of play them. You earn credits by obtaining specials and completing various goals on each machine. Not really that much to say about this one. I mean, it's pinball. And again, one of those games that I thought might be fun to sort of stand up and play on the kiosk. Yeah, just like you would a pinball machine, I guess. It feels like it might be complete. I'm hoping it is, because like I say, it's uncommon. Yes, it is. Thank you. It's in nice condition. Another win. So I think pretty much that's a clean sweep across the board with CEX victories on this one. But yeah, this is £18 at CEX, or it would be if it was in stock. eBay, you're looking at sort of £25 to £30. There's a PS3 version. I think there are copies of that. That's slightly more expensive at £22. And as you would expect, on the Wii, it's even cheaper at like £6. But once again, there's not many in stock on the Wii either. So yeah, a very uncommon game. I'm just assuming it didn't sell many. And I am absolutely delighted that on the second attempt, this actually got sent. So yeah, really happy with that. Williams Pinball Classics. And that takes me to the final game, and what is one of the rarest games and one of the most expensive games on the Xbox 360. This is a game that I found on a very recent trip to Kirkby Sales and Exchange. If you watched this week's vlog, you will have seen that I picked up a nice couple of games from there, and I did say that one of which I'd be showing on Wednesday. So here it is. That game is Crash Time 5 Undercover. This is a 2012 release, and it's like a mission-based driving game which is based on a German TV series known as Alarm für Cobra 12 Die Autobahn Polizei. I hope there's no German people watching. I'm pretty confident I butchered that. You'll be solving criminal cases set in a fictional version of Cologne, and there are actually 5 Crash Time games released on the Xbox 360. I spoke about the Crash Time series a while back on either a video games to invest in or an Xbox 360 games video that's going up in value a year or two ago. And yeah, as I say, there are 5, and this is the most expensive and arguably the most rare of the 5. So Crash Time 5 is selling at CX for £45, at least it would be if it's in stock. There's currently 0 games in stock. I picked this up for £40 at the fantastic Kirkby Sales and Exchange. It's all complete, it's in really nice condition. So very, very happy to be adding this one. I'll quickly run through the others. So Crash Time 1 is a £30 game, and again there's 0 in stock. So that's probably the second most rare of the Crash Time series. Crash Time 2, £25, 4 copies in stock. The cheapest, when the only other one I've got, is Crash Time 3. That game's just £10. There's 4 copies of that in stock. And Crash Time 4 is £25, and there's just 1 in stock. So yeah, unsurprisingly uncommon games, because as I say, we didn't get the TV series. The games have got mixed reviews. I hear that they're okay, but they can get a bit samey driving around, sort of completing very similar missions throughout. But yeah, they've definitely become an uncommon game, and it's definitely a series I would like to complete, and I've now got 2 of the 5, and with the heaviest hitter ticked off. And that's it. So what have we added here? 5 uncommon Xbox 360 games. And yeah, again, I've said it many times before, this is what I love about this era of gaming. Still to this day, whilst I'm sat here looking at, if my eyes keep verting down by the way, I'm looking at my Xbox 360 collection, how vast it is, and still to this day, I'm learning about games that I didn't know existed. I didn't know about Deadfall, for example, and I'm really excited to try that one out. And yeah, it's just a bygone era, right? Where there was like sort of almost what I call B-movie releases. Not everything has to be a AAA game that's spent years in development and then has to be patched 15 times. There was just so many games coming out at such a frenetic pace that a lot of them just kind of went under the radar. But it doesn't mean they're bad games. It just meant that there was just so many games at that time. And yeah, like I say, still discovering fantastic games for this system, and I'm having so much fun collecting for the Xbox 360. Let me know in the comments if you're an Xbox 360 collector, if you have any of these games, and what other rarities I need to add to my collection. Also, let me know via the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this one, because there are quite a lot of other rare games for this system that I would like to add to my collection, so we can definitely do this again. So if you'd like to see that, let me know via the thumbs up button. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe. I'll see you all on Sunday. Play your games, keep it retro. In a bit.
You're watching the Retro Ghetto.
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 Yeah.